This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
Hello, people. Welcome to another edition of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's topic, the definition of a man. So let's just jump right into it. The Webster Dictionary defines a man as an adult male that can be distinguished from a boy or a woman. Let's do roll call. Who do we have in the house tonight? Don't be shy. Just shout out your name.
What's up? What's up? You got your boy Greg Lacey in the building.
Okay, you got T. Lacey here.
You got Mr. Adapt.
Who else do we have in attendance?
You know what time it is. It's beta time.
Shalon's in the building.
All right. Seems like we got a full panel. So let's just get right to the topic at hand. Robbie, you want to tell me what your definition of a man is?
My definition of a man is someone that takes care of home, that doesn't go outside their house and try to make home somewhere else. They're a good provider for their woman and children. They can sit down and answer questions without, taking the questions personal. I really think that they're overall just there for their loved ones, their wife, their spouse, their children. And that's my definition of a man, someone that works hard and try to be a great provider for their family.
Okay, let's get a lady's opinion. Let's go with Tanasia. Tanasia, give us your definition of a man.
My definition of a man is someone who's strong, intelligent, resourceful, can play both roles in the household. It doesn't have to be just, when it comes to the manly stuff, so to speak, or quote unquote. He also cooks and cleans and helps with the kids, helps financially, just a man of God as well. Like maybe he might go to the scripture first and understands himself so that he can understand how to lead a household. So he's a leader. As all, by nature, animals, the male is always the leader of a pack. So that's my true definition of a man. Just adding on to what Robert said.
Okay, so Greg, you're up next.
I would say a man is one part of the power dynamic to a family, and he's definitely the provider and a person that's setting an example for his children, and definitely somebody that's helping out around the house with the bills. When problems arise, he's probably the person that you would want to talk to.
Okay. Shalon, you're up next. Let's get your definition of a man.
My definition of a man, the three main things that are important to me are loyalty, love, and respect. His loyalty to me, his family, his faithfulness to comply with commitments and obligations, his love, that needs to be unconditional, to love my positive and my negative qualities, to respect me always as I will him.
Okay, so it's my turn. So my definition of the man is someone that is responsible, someone that is accountable, someone that is loving, someone that is understanding, someone that you can trust, someone that provides unconditional love, someone that will be there for you in times of needs, someone that will not turn away from you when you guys run into issues like problems in a relationship, someone that's a nurturer, someone that is a strong provider. They are the first example to the children and their female mate and other females around them of what a positive man is supposed to be. All right, I think we just had someone else join the party. Please announce yourself.
That's me on my phone.
Okay. So, all right. So let's get into it. All right. So we got everybody's definition. So let's just throw this out there. Shalon, who is or was your first example of what a man is supposed to be?
Unfortunately, I didn't have many role models growing up. I did have a few men around me that I had an uncle who I can look to for advice. I had my friend David, who's always giving me positive advice about men and what I should be seeking and what I deserve. So that was what I had. You know, with examples of other relationships, I had many examples of what not to do. So I had to stand clear of those and seek out what I feel is best for me.
So are you single, married, or looking for someone?
I am married. I've been married for 16 years. I've been with my mate for 21 years. We've had our share of ups and downs, but through it all, we've always respected each other's position and loved each other unconditionally. So I think that's what kept us together.
Okay, so let's go to Robert. Who was your first definition of what a man is supposed to be?
Well, I had all my uncles. They was always around. There was one uncle in particular that I can really say he showed me a lot of what a man's supposed to be. I had a father in the home that he showed me what a man's supposed to be. I can say my mother, she was a strong lady. She also showed me what a man should be. And then as we grew old, me and my brothers, just by taking care of each other's children and helping out with other people's children, that showed me definitely what a man's supposed to be when you're out there on your own too. So I have many males in my life that I kind of took from them the good and left the bad right with them.
All right, let's get the ladies' opinion. Tanasia, we're gonna bring it back to you. Who is or who currently serves as your example of a good man, positive man?
The only person I could think of, because I didn't have too many examples, is really my grandfather. Like, he definitely raised me. He picked me up from the bus stop, rain, sleet, snow, got up, did our hair. I remember him teaching me how to shave my legs, which is funny now that I'm thinking about it. So I think that just him. But as I grew and definitely into adulthood, as I got older and in my dating scene, I've definitely experienced men, whether they had children or not. Like, truly that kind of example of, you know, like, hey, I'm a man. Like, when I tell you 8 o'clock, I mean 8 o'clock. When I tell you I'm going to be detailed, I'm going to know how to treat you. I'm gonna know how you like your meals. I'm gonna know how to take care of you. I'm gonna know how to plan trips. I'm gonna know how to lead you financially, into a business or something that you want. So I think that in my adulthood, I've experienced it definitely. But my grandfather for sure. For
Okay,
sure.
that's a great example. I mean, it starts at home. Gregory, let's get your opinion, your perspective, what you
Well,
think a positive male model is, and do you currently have one? Do you serve as one? Fill us in.
well, Pops was always like an in and out character in my life. So Duke's always had to be like the man and a woman in a relationship. Even with that being said, it takes a village to raise people. So I always had my uncles around me. Thank you guys for helping me know what it is to be a man, and
You're welcome.
my father is there from time to time. So I do have some of his traits. I'm not gonna just throw him all the way under the bus. But you guys and people around me that was close, like family, really show me what it was to be a man, if I can be politically correct about the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's stay right there. So in life, in our community, there is often environmental and financial factors that, let's say, impede, create obstacles, potholes in this journey of life. So we're sometimes lacking people as examples, good and bad. So I know your father. So I watched him when he was present be a father. So would you say currently as a man, and you're a mature man, because share your age with us.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old, yo.
So at 30 years old, your perspective, would you say, is different than what it was when you was a child?
Yes, I would, because I remember like having other people's impressions, opinions about my father probably pushed on to me because of the way that they seen the world to be, I guess. And I guess I was picking up on that from society, like, oh, should I be mad at him or something? And I see it with my other siblings, so I know they're probably still mad at him a little bit. Now I'll be like, I understand what he was going through. I understand that I have to be my own man, and I'm trying to do the right thing to elevate us from where we was when he first stepped in the fatherhood with me.
So if I may, I would say I can't label Greg Sr. as an absentee father. I would say there was certain environmental factors that led to certain decisions that took him away from his family from time to time. So I don't feel like it was a situation where he just made a choice that he was not going to be there for his family. It was environmental factors that led to bad decisions. Is it fair to say that, based upon your current status in life and what you know about your father, y'all's relationship currently? Greg, did we lose your signal?
You say that again, Uncle D? My fault, man.
So I said,
but get back into the meeting again.
I can't say that I would label Greg Sr. as an absentee father. I would say that certain environmental factors that led to bad decisions that took him away from his family from time to time. But based upon what you know about your father and what example he serves present day, do you agree or disagree with me?
I agree with you. I definitely agree that there was probably factors that kept him away from all of his children. And then, right now I would say he's being the best man he could be.
And I like the way you put that right now, because our past doesn't get to define us. It's who you are present day. You show up and you be accountable. So let's go to Shalon. So you said there wasn't a lot of men that was present in your life. So currently, the man that you have chosen for your husband, does he meet your expectations? Is he more of a example to you than what the other men around you when you was growing up failed to be?
I would say my husband is definitely loving, supportive, and always available to me, which is really important to me. I mean, I wouldn't compare him as a father because he also didn't grow up with his own dad. So it's something that we had to learn collectively as becoming parents, what we want for our children and what we were lacking and what we want to have for them. So it's almost like, I feel like, I didn't have this XYZ, so I'm gonna make sure my kids have that. I wasn't, always available. Well, my dad wasn't always available to me growing up. I mean, I can count on my one hand how many times I've seen him in my lifetime. So unfortunately, I take that negative and I'm always trying to be optimistic with my own life. I'm trying to look at people's failures as ways that I can be successful in my own relationship with my own family and how to love and give what I was lacking. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. So I also want to touch base on the fact where you acknowledge me as being somebody that had an influence on you as a man. So, and I appreciate that. That I'm honored that I was able to serve as that role in your life. And so let's just say it, over a course of time, has the roles between you and I changed, whereas mentor, mentee, or is it more so now that you're teaching me as well?
I feel like the roles have definitely switched. When I was once the mentee and you were the mentor, I feel like now with my own experiences and the life that I live, it can also teach you some things about what to expect because you're not in a relationship with somebody and you haven't been married. And I'm glad that you're open to that knowledge. You're receptive to not only giving advice, but receiving it. And just looking at things from a totally different perspective. So I think a lot of times we bounce ideas off each other to improve us as individuals and in our current relationships or past relationships, like what we could have done better, what we can succeed in the future.
So there's a lot of counseling that takes place between you and I.
Oh, definitely.
So, okay, so let me just, I believe Josie just joined us. So, Josie, you care to jump right in and give us your definition of a man? Josie,
Definition of a man. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm going to try to multitask and, give my point of view. of that. Strong, handsome, debonair, charming. Definitely someone who can take care of his business, not only with paying bills, but definitely taking care of things in the bedroom as well. Definition of a man is someone who provides, nurtures, understands, puts a woman's worth first. Just someone who is there for you, everlasting. Got your back, 100%. That's my definition of a man.
Okay, so it would only be fair if I asked you, who are some of your male role models growing up, past and present?
Past and present. So, God rest some of my soldiers, especially my father, and then the ones who are still here. It's truly a blessing for the ones that are still here. My brothers, my living uncles, my outside family, the extended family, my baby's daddy. Those are some of my role models that are still here.
Okay. Let's get a male's point of view. Robert, who are some of your current and past male models, role models?
Well, I can say my uncle Arthur, that's no longer here with us. I can say my uncle that is still here with us. My father that left us, he was a role model. That was the past and the present. I have my brothers. I even look at my friends, because we bounce ideas and we have each other's backs on many things. And I can also say, by helping raise my nephews, I look at them, they're inspiring, they're growing. You might not notice the little things, but I do. I see the growth and I know they can continue to grow. So those are sort of like my role models because they're young and they got many years ahead to get even better. I mean that by excelling to their highest level. So those are my past and presents.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tanasia, let you jump right in there. And again, I'm gonna ask you, who are some of your current, past, and present, if any, who serves as a good male role model for you?
I mean, well, my grandfather passed, so I could say like him, but otherwise, I mean, I would say you and Rob, definitely, even though I just met you guys. We've been on our journey and working with the nonprofits and the businesses and stuff like that. And the way you guys speak and just speak positivity. And you guys are definitely all about the youth and pushing G and I and Timmy to definitely like go above and beyond ourselves and to see the opportunity in the world. And then I would say like my business mentor that I met like in 2017, like him and I have kind of been really cool. And even outside of like relations or relationship, he's always definitely been like a good, I don't know, like a good figure to be like, wow, that's like a great guy. Like over, around, I could talk to him about anything. It's always good vibes. Just like the true definition of, I guess, maybe what a husband could be or should be, or the way, it's not about just opening doors. It's not about just taking you out to eat or being financially stable. It's a little bit more than that. And yeah, I would say that, but otherwise, I'm like, I can't really.
Well, again, I like what you said about opening doors. So sometimes they're not actual something tangible. There might be something emotional or mental things. Like, so if the person can stimulate your mind, they're empathetic and they're sensitive to your emotions. that opens up doors to the soul, you know, and then you guys can connect in those ways. I think that that is important for a man to connect with a woman intellectually. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to connect in other ways outside of the bedroom, because sometimes people feel that an example of a man is someone that just goes in the bedroom and be what they call it, Robert, a bedroom bully. So that might be the only thing that they excel in. Outside
Yeah,
the
they
bedroom,
right in the sheets, but not in the streets.
they bring nothing else to the table. And because if that's something that that man is told over and over again, that you're a great lover, and I don't think that no one else would ever be able to satisfy me outside of you. A lot of times that's what men start to focus on. You know, they start slacking on being a provider, a nurturer, because they feel like I've connected with her at the highest level, and that's sexually, and I don't have to do anything else. You guys wanna jump in and give me your point of view regarding that? Let's go with let's go with Josie, because she made reference to that earlier. So let's start it off with her.
I feel like you gotta be multitask in that area, because if you're not doing your job in the bedroom, you're not gonna be considered a man either.
So, ladies, you want to jump in on that? Shalon?
Well,
Not doing a job in the bedroom, does that take him away from the equation? Is that what's the question?
I said that a lot of times people give a man credit, and credit alone, for being a bedroom bully, you know, and that's all he knows, because he's been taught that as long as I take care of business in the bedroom, I'm able to connect with her on the highest level sexually, then I don't need to be accountable for anything else. So that's what we're talking about right now. Does that make you a good man because you're able to take care of business in the bedroom, but yet you're failing to take care of business in every other aspect of the relationship?
Knowing how to lay the pipe doesn't get the pipe fixed. So, I mean, unless you're coming with all of those qualities, I'm not going to put you in that category of, an outstanding man because you can do outstanding things in the bedroom. No, that's not what's going to make you a man in my eyes. However, there are others that might feel that is all they need, or that's all they settle for. How about that? I'm not even going to say all they need. They settle for it because, it excites them. So they end up missing that this man doesn't have no real other qualities besides that in the bedroom.
Now,
okay, so
everywhere else but the bedroom?
So let me just stop you right there. Let me just stop you guys right there. If you're just joining in, you have now tuned into the pilot episode of Still a Man, the definition of a man. And I believe that we have Tanya, you just joined the meeting. Everybody, please be advised, this is being recorded. So speak your mind. This is an open forum, and these are the views of the participants and the participants alone. These views no way reflect the perspective of the host. Tanya, you want to jump right in? You want to give us your definition of a man and touch base on what it is to be a man outside of the trophy title of being a bedroom bully?
A bedroom bully?
Yeah, translation, layman's term, someone that is good in the bed.
Oh, well, my definition of a good man definitely has to have that type of quality, but for the most important thing is that he has to have respect for himself. He has no respect for himself, then he can't give me respect. He has to be a man of integrity, a provider, a communicator, know how to give love and receive love, and most importantly, be a man of God.
Okay. So again, Shalon, let me get your views on this there.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So do you feel that a good male model, role model, is someone that takes care of business in the bedroom, but outside of the bedroom, he is sorely lacking?
Well, I can tell you from my experience, I've been with that type of dude who thought he was everything in the bed and couldn't provide anything else to me. And he was egotistical about it to the point where it just became disgusting that I couldn't deal with it anymore. But for me, I would say in my 20s, at some point, yeah, I was into that because that's what I was about. I wanted to have sex all the time. I mean, who doesn't? And when they're young, but when you mature and you're older, you have more wants and you have more desires and more needs. I need him to stimulate me in other ways as well, because at some point we're gonna get old and that dick may not be working anymore. So how else are you gonna stimulate me? Just saying.
Got to be able to stimulate the mind.
That's right.
And that's something I got a bit tongue-tied about earlier when I was talking about being able to connect on the intellectual level. So I'm gonna ask you ladies this. Who holds fault when you have young and old men feeling like that's all they have to do is because that's what's been allowed? If I knock it down in the bedroom, if I break the bedboard, and she'll forgive me for all my other transgressions, I should say. I can cheat. I can lie. I can steal. I don't have to help her pay the bills. I can be totally unaccountable in every aspect of the relationship as long as I take care of her sexual needs. I mean, who takes that blame? Who's at fault in that situation?
In that situation,
Yes.
first of all, the woman has to have some type of respect for herself and know what her worth is. That sets the level of what she's gonna accept and not accept.
I have a different outlook. I think that's a little misogynistic. I think that if you're a man, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. There's people with low self-esteems. Like, nobody's perfect. We're all humans walking this earth. We all have issues going on. I think that for a man to come into a relationship and think that sex is the only thing he can offer, and that's the only thing that he has to offer, he got some traumas that he needs to handle, and that's his fault.
Yes.
Because we're saying that he's not paying bills, he's not doing this, but he still goes to her house every day. He still calls her every day. He's still eating her food. So when do we hold men accountable and say, hey, you're just not mature enough? And that's actually called usury. And it's actually some type of form of abuse, low key. Like, we shouldn't be doing that to any woman, period. Whether she doesn't have the self-esteem or self-respect yet, or the self-maturity yet. We should never do that to anybody.
It's totally a disservice to both individuals, because that individual, the male individual that goes through life thinking that's all you have to do, you're sorely misinformed. Because as soon as you encounter a woman that says to you, I want you to be able to massage my intellect, you're gonna fall short. Because if you never make it to the bedroom, then how else do you show her who you are?
Wait, go ahead.
If that's all you got to offer.
Right.
Right?
And then I think it becomes a cycle. Like, you know, like you just like that's that cycle of, well, like I'm just hopping from woman to woman to woman to woman. And then same thing with women. Maybe I'm just hopping to because I keep falling into like this pattern or this, I don't know, whatever that pleasure is, or that moment or that second, that one split connection that just might be sexual and not intellectual yet. So that's why we kind of need to like get to know each other first, even though sometimes we don't want to, because it's like that initial attraction, like, oh my gosh, I'm attracted, or you just see that vision really quick, like, oh, this could be my husband, or oh, this could be my wife, like I like this, I kind of like this. And we miss the whole like, but wait, what do you like to do? Wait, what's your favorite color? Wait, do you believe in God? Wait, like what? Hold on, how was your household? What was your household like? Like, wait, I'm afraid of the dark. Like my mom hit me with a chancleta, and I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of still scared about that. Like nobody really gets the chance to dig deep.
And okay, so you know, you guys have raised some good
Everything's
points.
physical for some people.
Yes.
Right.
And again, so I ask you guys again, I'm gonna keep bringing it back to, is it the man's fault, is the woman's fault, or is it society's fault? Or is it just a lack of positive male
Influence.
modeling?
Listen, you can't say it's anybody's fault, because it really goes to their upbringing, their surrounding, their history, what their mama taught them, what their father taught them. We was just talking about this yesterday about the environment. Last week, the environment of what they was brought up in, what they've been subjected to help mold and shape them into the person that they are.
So speak on that. Speak on that.
What do you mean speak on that? If you grew up in a household where you seen your mother or your father beating your mother, and your mother doesn't have any type of self-esteem or self-worth, you think that that's okay. But at the same time, the man is showing his son that that's how you're supposed to treat a woman. And the woman is showing her daughter that, you know, maybe that's the type of, you be subject to that. It's about the environment. If the person is, like for me, I'll just use me as an example. I grew up in a broken home. The homes that my father was here in Massachusetts, I was mostly with my mom. And so I seen my mom go through her boyfriends with them beating on her and fighting on her. But I could have felt subject to that environment and thought that that was okay. But I also spent time with my grandmother, who didn't tolerate that type of behavior from a man.
So a man's bad behavior can also serve as a good example, because, you know, this is not what I want for me.
Exactly.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So now let's talk about financial factors. Is it a deal breaker that this man is not a six-figure male? He does not make millions of dollars. He doesn't have the big contracts. He doesn't have the fancy cars, clothes, houses. He doesn't have those type of luxuries. However, he comes home every week with his paycheck. He pays the bills. He contributes to the household expenses. All the children are well kept. His woman is well kept, and he keeps himself up to par as well. The house is not falling down around him. He's accountable. He's responsible. He goes to work every single day. You know what he's going to do like clockwork. Is that the ideal man, or is it the one that brings all the money to the table? Someone speak on that.
No, the ideal man, and I think there is no ideal man. Whoever you are, you need to be equally yoked with that person. So I I can't, maybe I can't mingle with a dude who doesn't like to not go on vacations, or is maybe
Mhm.
a homebody, or doesn't like, where even though he works hard and he might, maybe he has money, but maybe those are things that he just doesn't like to do. Maybe we're just not equally yoked. But then maybe again, there's a guy who's like, hey, I'm hardworking and we could do it. So I think it's just about being equally yoked. And I mean that in terms of like head to head. Like you guys both like to talk about similar things. I'm not saying that everything has to be perfect, but it has to touch just enough, because it's just not going to work no matter how much money is involved or how much money isn't involved.
Yeah,
So
like your compatibility matters. If y'all
Yes,
aren't
yeah,
compatible, and then next thing you know, she's like, well, you broke, I don't, or she's like, well, you're just too boring for me, and she's cheating on him, or he's doing the same thing to her. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Something like that.
But if you
so again,
equally yoked, both of y'all should be on the same financial level. So both of y'all should be looking in each other's faces. Like if I'm saying you broke, I'm broke too, because we're supposed to be equally yoked. If I'm looking at you and I'm like, well, damn, baby, I got $1 million in the bank, you should be looking at me like, well, damn, babe, I got 1.2, or I got you just about there. I'm at 99999. So that's why I said equally yoked. Like, what is there to argue about when you got two people who are doing damn near, not to say the same thing, because maybe I'm doing skincare and he's doing fitness, but we vibe. We vibe. Maybe I smoke, but maybe he likes fine liquor. That's okay. I like fine bud. You know what I mean? So maybe it's, I like a little bit of Etta James, but he might like, a little bit of I don't know, who's a country singer or something. But it's daggone near equally yoked.
Yeah, you gotta be compatible, man.
okay,
Yeah. If you like to get massages, I like to get massages, but it doesn't make sense that I could fly to Dubai, but you can't. We have never had the same experiences then. Of course there's gonna be issues.
so again, we talked about environmental factors and financial factors. Let's talk about how society influences, uh, you know, society, the community, the families, women, men alike. Um, Society tells you you're supposed to be a way. In a lot of cultures, they say a man is supposed to be strong. A man is supposed to be macho. A man is not supposed to cry. How do you guys feel about that? Now, let me get that perspective of a man, one of the men in attendance tonight. Robert, let's get your perspective on that.
I can tell you, I'm a grown man and I raise children. I can sit down and watch a movie and I'll cry if it's touching me. I can listen to gospel music and I cry. It's touching me. I talk to my family about something good and I'm so happy for them and I'll shed a tear. I remember this morning when I listened to these kids in New York and their teacher come on the radio and they said, we have a project we've been working on. And it was called something, I don't know if it was Queen Starts or something, but
Mhm.
their whole program that they're trying to bring to television, like a TV series, um, they said it was going to be based on a conversation nobody wants to have.
Mm.
So the man said he likes that. Do you need anyone to sponsor you? Do you need any money? He said, no, I have it. He said, so we'll put your program on pause because they needed me elsewhere in the school to do other projects, but I'm back on board. And he said, well, I'm gonna give you guys $1,000 to help out with your books or whatever you need. And he said, thank you. And then he said, okay, we'll talk to you later. But he said, no, hold on. The kids want to say something to you. All the kids said it together. Thank you. We appreciate it. That touched me. It's like when you hear because I have consumers, and when you hear the children be really appreciative to what you're doing for them because they are our future. So that made me shed a tear and I had goosebumps. So you can't say a man should not cry or would not cry. I think that you have to let those tears out at times because it's like a therapeutical factor in your life that it might help you grow or it makes you see things in a different way.
I like that. I like that. Let's get Gregory. Let's get your perspective on that.
Well, I can say like the same thing with Uncle Rob the other day. It's weird, right? Because I was chilling with my homegirl and she had fell asleep. But when she woke up, she's like, are you okay? She thought I was mad at something, but I had actually just cried at something I watched on TV and it had messed me up real bad. I seen some guy playing with his kids. It was having so much fun. It didn't, a whole bunch of thoughts just came over me for some reason. And now I'm in the bed just sobbing, can't stop crying for some reason. And by the time she wakes up, she's looking like, you okay? And it's like, then you start getting that feeling like, dang, I ain't supposed to be crying in front of her or something because you're supposed to be a man. But then I told her what was going on with me and it's just an understandable situation. So sometimes you do have to cry, let stuff out and not feel like you're doing the wrong thing. You can be vulnerable sometimes.
That makes you more.
Go ahead.
That makes you more of a man when you can be vulnerable and
That's
cry.
right. That's right. So let me ask you a question. How did you feel once you spoke with her about what was going on with you, what was plaguing you, was heavy on your heart, on your soul, on your mind? How did you feel and how did she respond?
Well, I'm going to be truthful because some people might be like, well, after I spoke about it, I felt good. No, after I spoke about it, I was insecure about the feeling about crying in front of this lady and making myself look less of a man. That's what I was thinking about after that.
And where do you think that's? And where do you think that feeling is coming from? Where did that come from? Where does that stem from?
Society has shaped us as men. I'm not gonna say just black men, but men in America, but especially black men.
Now, let me stop you right there. What is your relation to me?
You're my uncle.
What is your relation to Robert?
He's my uncle.
What is your relation to Josie?
That's my mother.
What is your relation to Tanya?
That's my family. Tanya is like my auntie.
What's your relation to Tanasia?
Tanasia is my cousin.
Okay. Have any of the participants that I just named ever gave you the impression that you should not be sensitive? Did they make you feel a certain way about you showing that type of emotion, crying?
No, I think this is shaped from the outside world, not my close world, but like when you go to school and stuff and you hang in the streets, you can't be crying. You're not gonna be out there crying.
Okay, now let me stop you right there. Again, what is your age?
I'm 30. But that's what I'm saying. From the way I grew up, it shaped my perspective on that type of thing. So I don't cry a lot.
Would you consider yourself to be an adult mature male?
Yes.
So I will say this to you. You got some homework to do because you need to find out why, as men, and saying we, as men, we allow society and other factors relating to or pertaining from society to be influences on our lives. Now, just let me explain
to you. It's like it's not your immediate family that makes you feel like that. It's the world. The world is
it's the culture.
Right.
Like we don't see Drake sitting there crying, and then when he does sing something, lovey-dovey, it's like, oh, look at Drake, he's a punk.
No, even when he cried, they made fun of him.
I was just gonna say they make fun of you. Right.
You know what?
That's
and
just the
it's sad
culture of
because,
today.
right. I was about to say, I think it might be generational too, because like I know that when you see a grown man cry, you better be concerned. I know when you see a boy cry, you better be concerned. So I don't know if it's the stigma of everybody going around saying, oh, men shouldn't cry or boys shouldn't cry. I know there was when my son was growing up, you know, not to be getting off the subject of men, but when he was a child and they used to do certain things, I used to be like, chuck that up. Take them tears away, you know, in certain situations. And it wouldn't be because I didn't want him to think that he couldn't cry, but it would be about that situation that I felt like it don't waste your tears on. But as a man or a grown person now, he has his own choices of what he chooses, you know, to shed his tears on. But I don't think that anyone shedding tears is making them less than a person. I think that when you hear that saying, you know, what are you crying for? You know, it's maybe your parent trying to guide you in a different way than seeing you, I guess, waste your time or waste your tears on something that is just not worth it. You know what I mean?
So do you, so now this is for the ladies and the men, y'all can join into after this, but do you think that when a mother says, stop your crying, wipe your eyes, this doesn't require tears because you don't want this your son to have to deal with the stigma that comes with that when dealing with society, the ridicule by his peers for appearing to be soft because he's crying. Shalon, you have a son. Tanya, you have a son. Joseph, we already heard from you. Shalon, let's get your perspective on that.
Well, I feel men should definitely cry. I mean, crying is a form of release. When we're happy, we show joy. When we're sad, we need to show sadness. When we're angry, we need to show anger. I mean, when we tell our sons don't cry or some tears up, that's suppressing those emotions that we need to release. Because when we're holding on to those emotions, that's festering inside of us. That's building frustration. And when you're building, what are you building? You're building tension, you're building stress. It's like, and once you release that, we all knows what happens when you release that stress. You take it out on the wrong person, you explode, you do things that are irrational, things that you can't take back. So I think we need to tell our sons, it's okay, baby. If you need to cry, go cry in your room. If you don't want to cry at school, that's fine. If you don't want to cry in front of your friends, but you need to go handle those emotions and get a hold of them. And then we need to discuss with them the reasons why and why it's okay and when it's appropriate to do so. But I don't want my son to also be a crybaby. I don't want him to be a punk.
That's
but I want him to feel like, you know what, I need this form of release so I can feel better.
Right, but we're not crying because your popsicle fell on the ground. Now, chuck that up. Let's go. Let's go. What are you doing? Let's go.
Absolutely. That shit's
You
scary.
understand
That on
what I'm
the
saying?
floor,
about
right on the ground and go
Right. I was just gonna say,
crying,
what
boy.
right.
I don't know about that. It depends on what
We can
flavor
get
that
another
popsicle was.
popsicle.
It really depends on what flavor that was. If that was my favorite popsicle, I might shed a tear. That's not to say that I'm not going to ask for another one, like I'm going to stand there and throw a tantrum. I might cry because, like, I was going to enjoy that. And the ice cream truck pulled off. You know, that's something worth crying about. Everybody else around, you got their popsicle, yours fell. I mean, mom, dad, what we going to do about it?
You said a tantrum. That's where I am with that. Like, you can cry to show some emotions, but we're not doing this whole popsicle thing and thinking that you're making a scene right now, because now mommy's saying's coming out. You want to cry? I'm gonna give you something to cry for.
I knew you was headed that way.
Things that those are the, but again, that's someone's certain upbringing.
Yeah, I want the big one for the back and this one for the top.
Want me to help you?
Yeah. So, but for me, I'm just saying, I enjoy sharing time with a man who's not afraid to show me his sensitive side. I really enjoy it because you know what? That means you're a down to earth person. I like somebody who could crack a joke that I would be like, wow, where the hell did that come from? You know what? That's some girly stuff or whatever. I like a man who's in touch with his feminism. I'm not saying that he has to be, going a certain way. I'm just saying I like for
Not the hair. I got a permit.
Just
Right. But I also don't want a dude
Here's
who's
my
crying
children.
all the time either.
I was gonna say, I feel like parents, when they redirect their children into not crying, they're doing it to get them shaped for the world. Because when you go out there and nobody ever told you, hey man, you can't be crying around everybody like this. They get a perspective of you seeing you do that. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna be really cruel. So you have to get your kid ready for that.
Right.
So again, Gregory, have you ever seen the adult males around you? Well, you're an adult now, so have you seen like your elders, the elder males in your family shed tears?
No, not really. Unless this is a tragic moment. I can't remember us watching TV and one of my uncles and somebody just busts out crying because of what we'll watch. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
That's because all you watch with your uncles is wrestling.
Thank you.
Okay, but not even on the phone, G. Nobody's ever cried to you on the phone, nothing.
I beg to differ because I think you need to.
Hold on, wait a minute, Uncle T. I have heard he's going through things,
So you have witnessed men cry, and you know that is often relating to something, it's stemming from something. It's not just
his cry is a dangerous cry. You should be scared.
Okay. So again,
it might be an angry cry, happy cry. You're right.
I gotta ask everybody this question. At what point do you lose respect for a man that cries?
At no point. Unless
that's what I was saying. Look, you heard how Tanae just said, I don't want no man that's a crybaby. So it happens. It's not supposed to all the time, but people aren't always open to a sensitive guy. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. You come home, your significant other, your man, your boo thing, your husband, your boyfriend, it might be your trick, your jump off at the moment, whatever what you want to call it, your go-to guy, your boy toy, your sugar daddy. It might, whatever this male is to you at this point, at this stage in your life, if you came in and you witnessed this man crying, what is your role? What are your lines?
I'm gonna ask,
okay.
I want to know, is everything okay?
Yeah, what's wrong?
What's wrong?
That's what I think every woman's answer should be. How could I come? Talk to me.
Yeah, how can I help you? What's the problem?
Right.
And if he says to you in turn, you don't understand, you won't understand.
How do you know I don't understand if you don't talk? That's what communication
is gonna cause a frustration.
Yeah.
Bad communication.
And again, if you guys do not exercise communication in your home, I would implore you to do so, because it is vital to the success of any relationship, not just your marriage, not just your relationship with your child, with your siblings, with your mother, your father, your friends. Communication is the key. That's the only way you're gonna learn what's going on with the individual, because we can't see into people's souls. Although we like to predict or assume that we know what the person is feeling.
You can't read no mind.
Okay, guys, so I'm gonna tell you again, if you're just tuning in, you guys have logged into the Still a Man podcast, and tonight we are discussing the definition of a man. Ladies, we're gonna talk about, what does your man do at home? What is his chore? What is his role? Because we already talked about the bedroom, so let's talk about the rest of the house. What role does he play? Does that Tanasia, you said grandpa braided your hair and stuff, and we touched base about this before. A lot of the other males present, I know me and my brother Robert, we fashioned ourselves, take great pride in our ability to style hair. I mean, and if anybody else says otherwise, I challenge them to do better. But I can braid.
You need to let that crooked part go, Dave.
I can do a rap. I can do those things. I can put a beret in the hair. I can do those things. I know how to match clothes up. I know how to do that. But
I want to say this. I remember this. I just want to get this off of my out my memory real quick. I remember I was doing God rest her soul, Navi's oldest daughter, Danae's here, and every morning before school, I used to put her hair in a ponytail, some type of style. When I wasn't there to do it, her mom's tried to do it. And she said, no, you don't do it like Robert does. I don't want you doing my hair no more. So the next morning that I was there, she was like, I'm so sick of her. You got to go in there and do her hair because she won't let me do it. She said, you do it better. And that was my role. I would have to just put that ponytail in or do something to their hair right before the van came to pick her up. So a man could do children's hair, and you shouldn't feel no type of way because you might be the one they need to help them out in the situation.
Now I say that this hindsight is 2020. So in present date, I would say this to you: that was an infringement of sorts. Where, mom, that's not your role at that time because the daughter was bonding with her dad, and that was their thing. That was their bonding time, and it was like, no, you're not gonna do it. So even if you went in there and gave her the flyest hairstyle known to womanhood, she just was not biting. She just was not for it. Maybe she wanted that crooked ponytail because that was defining moments, So, think about that. It's not a shun to the woman. That was their time. That was their thing. So it was like, no, I don't want you right now. I want him. Send in the man.
Marley does that.
You said Molly does that?
She does that to Shaquana, yeah.
Yep, see?
Her and her father have a daily routine that they do every morning.
See?
And if Shaquana tries to get over, she's like, no, that's not the way daddy does it.
Yeah. Now as a woman, okay, we got two married women on the phone. We got Shalon and we got Tanya. So, let's go Shalon first. Shalon, does the man come before the children? And I put it to you this way: does the marriage come before the rest of the responsibilities to the family? Speak.
Well, in my case, I feel like my marriage definitely needs to come first because we have to communicate. We have to get along for the sake of the children. If we're not on the same page as far as, what our goals are, then we can't be successful for the kids because it kind of trickles down. It's like it starts with the two adults. The two adults have to show the examples for the children. They have to lead the way for them. They have to be good role models for them. So that's what's important for me and my family. Because I feel like my children, they're always watching. So they always want to know, is this a good relationship to follow? When they see other people's relationships, they say, oh, that's not how it should be. You know what I mean? And we're trying to mold them and let them know that you don't always have to agree as a mom and a dad, but you do have to make sure you're united. You're a united front.
All right, real quick before we get Tanya's perspective and her opinion, Gregory or Little Timmy, what are we doing for time?
Little T? 9:37.
So do we have unlimited or are they enforcing the 40-minute?
Nah.
We're trying to end it at 9:45.
So we have how many minutes left?
8.
minutes.
Okay, so let's get
But
back to.
let me try to say this in 8 minutes.
No, take your time. Take your time. We got time. Go ahead.
My perspective, my marriage comes before my children, but I want to touch base on the question that you said before about what's the man's role in the marriage. My husband, what's his responsibilities, I should say.
Yes.
My husband, we've been together, like I said, going on 28 years. In June will be 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, it was tough. Our kids have seen us go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. But through all of that, they've seen unconditional love. Since I've been sick, he does everything. He cleans, he cooks, he takes care of me, he dresses me, he does my hair, he bathes me, he takes complete, utter care of me. And my kids see that unconditional, both our children see that unconditional love. Jakira just got married. They all want to have the type of love and relationship that we have. So that tells me that we're doing something right.
Yeah, you guys, you are all the women that I know in y'all's relationships, and you guys are the embodiment, the true meaning of what some people would refer to as Black love. You guys exhibit that. And, it's very important that the public sees that, because we don't have too many good examples of that. A lot of times we look to celebrities, entertainers and stuff like that. And then when they fall short, we're devastated. They're humans. We all have flaws, so it's good to see, like, as they would say, the normal people exhibit successful relationships, modeling good behavior. So it's good to hear when a woman speaks highly of her man. And it's good to know that there are men that are still, present and that you can count on. I like that. So all respect due to Roberto for what he does. But they say behind every good man stands a good woman. But I would say, and beside every good man stands a good woman.
There you go.
That's actually the leader. That's the thing we got messed up.
Well, okay, let's real quick, let's touch base on that. Is the man's role as the patriarch of the family solely to just be the provider? Is he supposed to just lead? Because what happens when he fails to do so? Real quick.
Go ahead.
Because you're providing doesn't mean that you're leading. That doesn't mean that you lead the way for the people that are looking. You know what I'm saying? You could be provided and be a whole piece of trash.
Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, because you're modeling trashy behavior. So now, what type of example are you as a father? So again, you guys, real quick, I think someone else just tuned in. If you're just tuning in, this is Still a Man podcast, and we are discussing the definition of a man. We are running out of time, but before we run out of time, I just want to invite everyone to visit our online store. It is called EmporiumPlus.org. We are your one-stop shop. Please check us out. But let's go ahead and get another point of view about what the man's role is in your house. We'll say Robert.
Man's point of view in my house is just someone that really has respect for their self and definitely knows how to respect their woman, and that will show the children a lot about respecting each other in their own relationship in the nearest future. I definitely believe in that love. You gotta have strong love. And you gotta be open to take advice from your spouse and hear your children out, because their voice needs to be heard so you can understand them a lot more clearer. That way we won't have these mishaps outside our home where they go out and get into a lot of trouble, and some ends up in jail and some ends up in the ground, and we will miss them either which way. So I think a man should really pay attention to his whole household and show them
Okay.
the way.
Welcome,
Okay.
Georgette.
And I feel that. And so let me say this to you guys before we leave tonight. And if you guys want to further the discussion, feel free to check us out on Facebook. You'll have to go to my Facebook page and go to David's room if you care to continue this discussion. But I'm gonna take us home with this, and everybody commit this to memory. In life, every man requires a plan, unless you shall be subjected to the next man's plan. This is still a man. If you believe in still a man, say yes, I am. If you believe in still a man, say yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Right.
Views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
Good night, everyone. I'll see you in the
Good
morning.
Night.
Night.
Again, people, if you want to continue discussion, join us on Facebook.
So T, you got to close out.